Destiny, I want to ask you a question. So a woman called Kylie Jane Kramer posted on X, I've been trying to wrap my head around how the flooding in Texas became so devastating so quickly. Why not evacuate? Then I saw this. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick said the Guadalupe River rose 26 feet in just 46 minutes around 4 a.m. That doesn't even seem natural, to which you reposted this and you put your own words. I heard God killed those kids because they were using NordVPN, promo code Destiny, to get around the Texas porn ban. On reflection, do you think that was grotesquely tasteless thing to be posting?
Absolutely not. The hand wringing, the hand wringing here. Oh my God, stop.
So, fellas, we got an all-star cast today, followed by a newcomer to the channel. Today we're going to watch Destiny defend his tweet making fun of the dozens of people that died in the Texas flood, including a 6-year-old and 13-month-old, before the bodies were even cold. But I'm not talking about a debate on Piers Morgan. I'm talking about a discussion between the left as to how it was really bad optics for Destiny to make such a polarizing joke. Of course, the entire left is soulless, and the issue isn't the morality of the joke, but just how electorally yucky it is. So I've covered Destiny's hypocrisy and pending litigation for sharing nudes in this playlist on screen. It's gonna be a 2v2 discussion today because, as luck would have it, on Destiny's team is Soy Pill. I made a video about how Soy Pill doesn't understand boundaries at all whatsoever, which is in this video on screen. My oh my, is he exactly who I think he is. On the opposing side is Counterpoints, or Conor. Here's a playlist of him claiming to be a Republican while being paid by progressives and Democrats to help get them elected. Now he is teaming up with Kyla, or Notsoerudite. Here she is with her stupid little tits. It's okay, I have stupid little tits too. The difference between us is I'm keeping mine. You see, times are tough for Kyla. The whole working for Destiny gimmick is a lot more difficult than she anticipated, so she has to, let's say, upgrade. No ladies, just gentlemen, what you're seeing on screen is not a boob job. That's a boob career. She went from stupid little tits to big dumb tits. Too big, too quick. We can all agree that without a shirt on, those things sound like, "Wait, start the reactor." She moved from Canada to help Destiny and to build a career a few months before he had a sex crime lawsuit slapped on him. Kyla and Conor, as you'll see, are desperate for Destiny to stop taking daggers to his own clout so they can build careers on political punditry off of the degenerate, notorious name of Destiny. First, let's hear everyone state their positions. Get out your crosses and holy water, fellas. We're going demon hunting. Yay!
Yeah, I don't really think there's much of a downside unless you let there be a downside. I think that conservatives are allowed to have humor. I thought comedy was legal again. And I think that the big issue with Democrats being scared of alternative media is that they're scared of like any environment that they don't have like optimal control over. And I think they dramatically overestimate how much the public gives a about edgy jokes. I think it has less to do with edgy jokes and more to do with who has the power in the situation. And so if you have the power, it's unironically like what conservatives used to say, find out who you can't make fun of and then you'll find out who controls you. And for a lot of things, yeah, conservatives can just make the most insane jokes ever and be fine, and Democrats have to be like tiptoeing around every single topic.
I've said it once, I'll say it a million times. The way the left talks about the right to each other is how middle school boys gossip and misinform each other as to how women's bodies work at the middle school lunch table. The left thinks the right wing pees out of its baby hole. They're absolutely lost, yet maximally confident in their delusional interpretation of the right. I mean, these are the people working day and night to influence political culture. They want to normalize the dehumanization of the right by playing victim and acting like the response from the right is out of nowhere, and the right gets away with everything, while the left behaves so well, and they get called out for everything. You see, the left isn't regressive. In order to maintain their closed worldview, they have to reduce the world into an oversimplification like a child. The left is age regressing. Destiny sounds like a troubled teen that doesn't want to take accountability for anything, let alone his massive platform. But let's see if Soy Pill does any better, or if he dismisses Destiny's comment as simply being mean while focusing on the right capitalizing on it. As if they're not just calling it out.
I thought Destiny's joke's pretty funny, but somehow the right wing was able to capitalize this and shift the conversation from horrible policy by Ted Cruz and the right wing got a bunch of people killed to, oh, some guy was mean. So we're letting the right wing drive this outrage machine. They don't care. Marjorie Taylor Greene can call us all files, she doesn't get repercussions. The only reason we're allowed to do it now is because they're blocking the Epstein file release. But vibes do matter, and look at the vibe conversation. Like, Kamala didn't lose because she was too mean. She lost because she didn't go on these podcasts where she could be more authentic. Joe Rogan, Theo Von, Nelk Boys, and they tell Holocaust jokes, like all sorts of wild. Like, it's this idea that, oh, well, you're not authentic enough, but also you have to be prim and proper and perfect, because if you don't, like, you're not cool.
Like, oh my god, he just said something mean, but then the riot was like so much worse, and like they're trying to kill us, and that's how he talks. That's the tone of voice this man uses. It's the perfect hat for him, a propeller hat. I love it. You see, we're the ones who have been acting crazy for the past decade, and they've been the ones behaving. You know, the misgendering crowd. The crowd that wants to get you fired if you misgender them, they haven't been acting crazy for the past decade. You've been acting crazy. You think this gaslighting is just saved for this? You don't think he brings any of that into the bedroom? That's all I'm saying, dude. So this is Team Forced Insertion. Let's check in on Team Destiny, please pay my bills. Starting with Conor.
Democrats are scared of alternative media. The reason why they're scared of alternative media is because we have people like Vosh jerking off to kitty horse porn. We have people like Hassan, hanging out with terrorists. And we got Destiny talking about dead kids in Texas and how they deserve to die because they were jerked, with using a VPN. So this is the kind of that is going to push normies away. It's going to push the mainstream away. It's going to push those dollars away. And so as a result, it's not whether or not you can make up jokes. I don't give a shit about that. What I give a shit about is we got real work to do.
So the reason why Conor is a piece of shit is because he calls out Vosh for leaking his porn folder on stream, where it shows underage girls getting banged by cartoon underage girls getting banged by a cartoon horse. Not used to saying that, sorry. He feels emboldened to call it out now and make a point of it. But when it happened, he remained silent because he was working with Brianna Wu and Progressive Victory and being paid by them, and it would be more politically expedient to help the left for him to ignore Vosh jerking off to Lolly.
The only thing I would say, okay, is you had this insane conversation with me because I didn't criticize Lolly hard enough, despite the fact that I feel like I, was the person that brought it to light in the first place. But like, when Vosh had his little controversy, you seemed very unwilling to offer any sort of strong criticism or condemnation of what Vosh did. And I think it's because you're politically connected and tied to him.
Yeah. And I've said as much.
I know, fake grifting piece of shit, right? But in this conversation, somehow he's the good guy, because going up against Destiny, no matter how shitty you are, you're always the good guy. And let's cap these introductions off with Kyla.
Yeah, so I wanted to have this conversation because I care about real political outcomes. I think if we claim to be evidence-based, left-leaning commentators who want to fight misinfo and push for positive change, we need to be honest about what works. So it's fine for advocacy to reflect our personalities, but if we just do something because it feels good, it's probably important that we don't confuse that with what's effective. And what I would argue for is we don't have to be maximally effective at all times, right? I would never advocate for that necessarily. But the evidence typically shows, whether it's psychological theory or basic behavioral science, that shame and being super nasty typically is a bad motivator for change, particularly for people who view you as the outgroup. And so in my mind, if the goal is to move people and actually shifts hearts and minds, we need to make sure that we're being mindful of like how we're coming across, right? If we want to claim moral superiority, well, then we can't be doing things that make us look morally more questionable. If we think that scorching or going scorched earth and dunking leads to progress, we should probably stop kidding ourselves. It probably doesn't.
So Team Destiny, please pay my bills, is pleading with Destiny. This is costing you financial political opportunities, Destiny. You're making it difficult for us to associate with you when the punchline of your joke is that a right-wing baby died. Team Forced Insertion just cares about political extremism and radicalizing their base. To them, there's no bad tactics, only bad targets. As we all know, the surest way to work up a crusade in favor of some good cause is to promise people they will have a chance of maltreating someone. To be able to behave badly and call your bad behavior righteous indignation is the height of psychological luxury, the most delicious of moral treats. Let's see if Destiny's rhetoric possibly fosters that kind of sentiment.
Did you think that you were going to become is this an avant-garde marketing strategy? Did you think you were going to get an invite from Piers Morgan? You're like, I'm going to tweet out about dead kids jerking off to porn, and this is 100% going to result in people inviting me onto their shows?
Possibly. I would just like to clarify one part on the joke, though. You said that it was gross that they were underage and it was a porn joke. Well, that was why God was punishing them. If they were adults that were using NordVPN to watch porn, then God wouldn't punish them. So it wouldn't make any sense, would it, Connor?
No, God would still punish
Number
them
one.
because
Can I just
Number two, wait, real quick, just to answer the question, because did I know I could find it? I don't know, maybe not. I generally, at this point, when it comes to edgy humor conservatives, I don't necessarily make these jokes with like some huge grand master plan in mind. I just think liberals need to be way less soy about making fun of conservatives for retarded. They've like moved the window of acceptable behavior so unbelievably far in one direction that at this point, I refuse to be policed by actual subhuman degenerate filth about what we can or can't joke about when they make the most unhinged degenerate jokes ever.
Complete inversion of reality. I'm going to reiterate something from a previous video that I'm going to show you in just a moment. He wants you to die. He wants you to be harassed. He wants your kids at school to be harassed. You are subhuman because of the jokes that you make, whatever that means. Any random person on the internet makes a joke that's attributed to the entire right and the party and Donald Trump and all Republicans. He cries about January 6th so much. And even if there was a big name, mainstream, conservative that called it an insurrection on January 7th, he's going to ignore it. Even if you concede, and even if you were on your perfect, most best behavior, he's going to ignore it and still lie about you. Here's the receipt.
COVID lockdowns that were done because the government was trying to take all your freedom away. They won't acknowledge anything that happened on January 6th.
I fucking can't. I'm never getting through this video. So, Destiny's had a giant boner for January 6th being an insurrection.
We are looking at a decent chance of the next president being a guy who, at least from my point of view, launched an insurrection against the government. If you're on the left, should you admit to or concede to any of these things when you delusional, unhinged, cowardly, spineless won't even admit to what happened on January 6th? No, you deserve to be condescended to. My country is having a ex-insurrectionist, okay, try to run for president, and you support him. So no, I think it's okay for me to be highly critical of how you get units, and you don't know anything about it, but you have a strong opinion about it. I don't understand where you people come from.
Sounds pretty compelling, doesn't it? Well, what if I told you that someone more popular than some random person on X, I don't know, like Ben Shapiro, condemned and disavowed the behavior of January 6th on January 7th. So the next day he condemned the behavior and he called it an insurrection. On an episode titled The Worst Day in Modern Political History.
Is inexcusable, unjustifiable, awful on every level, disgusting on every level. Just terrible, terrible. When you have rioters taking over the US Capitol building, the seat of American democracy, and when you have those rioters saying that they are doing so in the name of the President of the United States, and when you have them doing that to the legislative branch of the government, and when you have those people, they are rioters, they are not protesters, okay? As soon as you commit an act of vandalism or violence, you are no longer in the category of protester, you are now a rioter. And unlike some folks who have justified riots based on the perspective of the rioters, if you're a criminal, and you should go to jail. You should go to jail. And this was an attempted act of insurrection. I mean, technically speaking, that's what it was.
How the fuck are we supposed to coexist with these people? But this is all over a joke. He just made some joke. It's not that it's dehumanizing an entire political party and spitting on the dead children because it was politically expedient. Notice how he didn't make a joke about anyone dying on the left in any sort of tragedy. It just so happened he just made this innocent little joke when it was an opportunistic dig at the right. But let's continue.
I'll tell you, talking about prepubescent kids jerking off, that's probably the least politically effective aspect of the joke.
Wouldn't it be schlicking in this case because they're mostly girls?
So to be clear, there's not going to be
Okay, and I'm sorry. I'm going to go ahead and turn off my camera while I talk just because my toddler is refusing to leave the room. So anyways, the point being that I am about political efficacy insofar as we're trying to figure out how to combine alt media and normal media. Okay, that's what we're trying to figure out how to do. We're also trying to figure out how to get mainstream politics to talk to alt media political people. Okay, and what's happening is we're talking about this fucked up joke, and I am here to police the jokes a little bit, and I'm bringing it up. And Steven's probably the most successful person here. And he's like, lol, wouldn't it specifically be female style of masturbation? And I'm telling you, that's the exact kind of fucking thing It's funny. I'm not going to say it's not funny, but that's the exact kind of thing that if I try to book with a mainstream person and I say, oh, hey, I have this guy. He's huge in alt media. He's got tens of thousands of listeners. He's got millions of post-recorded views. He wants to canvas. He wants to be active. Can we do an interview together? And then if somebody takes that clip and they blow it up, they're going to be like, isn't that the guy who talks about like prepubescent female masturbation? And they're going to say no. So you're right. I do want to police your jokes a little bit.
Yeah, but like, what's wait, what's the worst part? What's the worst part that would make me unbookable? Do you know what it is?
Well, I would say probably your abrasive personality and sex dramas.
No, I would say it's the fact that I'm on the left.
That's odd. Before Destiny pulled a 180 heel turn, he was talking to Ben Shapiro, Jordan Peterson. He was talking to plenty of people on the right. Huh. Is it because you're on the left, or is it because of your rhetoric since the Trump assassination attempt and you made fun of the firefighter being killed? Does that have anything to do with it? He's not doing anything different. It's age regressing. Let me show you how it's age regressing. A child would go, there's worse things. When you try and have them be accountable for anything they did, they go, there's worse things than what I did. Sounds kind of familiar, right? I know some of you have kids. They'll make up an excuse like that, like there's worse things than what I'm doing.
That one Chiron where CNN said fiery but mostly peaceful protests. Gotcha. And it's like, oh, well, if that's the standard, like you're
not.
That's not the standard.
Come on.
$1,000 worth of damage and 25 homicides. That's the fucking standard. That's the bad behavior. And you should call out bad behavior regardless of who's doing it. That's the other thing that pisses me off.
So you mean like when Donald Trump doesn't even acknowledge that he lost the 2020 election?
Bitch. No, that. You fucking literally said in this debate, oh, this is the crux of the entire issue is I pushed you enough that you finally said all bad behavior is on the table because the right wing is doing bad behavior. As long as we win, I don't give up.
People and being mean is not all behavior. There's worse stuff in life than making a mean joke at somebody.
Oh, well, there's worse things than an insurrection. An insurrection isn't the worst thing in the world. Don't you love it? I love it. If we're talking about January 6th, and we go, well, what about the BLM riots leading up to January 6th? Everybody was trapped inside, they saw cities being destroyed, and they thought, you know what? If they're allowed to do that, we should actually, instead of harming private citizens, instead of harming capital, we should go to the people that we have an issue with and air our grievances and get a little rowdy there. You can't bring up the BLM riots. No. We're not talking about the BLM riots. We're talking about January 6th. Stop pivoting. Stop deflecting. We're talking about January 6th. We're not talking about the BLM riots. Then when it comes to Destiny making a joke, what about Trump? What about Trump? What about Trump? There's no debating anymore. They really have gotten rid of debate. It's incredible. You don't believe me? Imagine if someone said this in a debate and imagine how you could possibly react, okay?
That basically you look down at them as subhumans. None of those people.
Hold on. I never used the word subhuman, but I do look down on them. And I'm going to be very explicit in public about that. And I think that anger is the same thing that a lot of people who are disaffected on the left who feel like they don't have people who will go out and say what people like, the same people that say, oh, Trump says it like it is. There's a swath of leftists that are like, why are these Democrats being so nice to these people that are killing my family, who are stripping their rights away? And I'm like, hey, dipshit. You should not be the authority here. That's very different from reaching out to specific voters. And if people clip that, whatever, but we tried being perfect for 2 elections, and they're going to clip everything from the perfect party of like the most.
Oh, dude, put him in the wood chipper, dude. You've been trying to kill us, and we've been acting perfectly. Dude, come on. Would you trust that guy with your daughter, the level of gaslighting he's capable of, the level of just dismissing any horrific behavior and downplaying it and acting like he's an absolute perfect little angel? He's like Mark Wahlberg in Fear. I can feel it. But let's be fair. Let's enjoy Conor's modicum of right wing in him fall out of his face because of what he's hearing. He can defend a lot of stuff on the left, but this is insane. And good on him for responding the way he does.
Yeah, it turns out everybody in this tribe is great. Soy Pill, fuck this. I've been waiting for 10 goddamn minutes listening to you fucking rant. Shut the fuck up. Shut up. I'm talking. I don't want to hear.
My whole point is there are other people like Ellie.
Still talking. White man, sit down. Listen. Jesus Christ. So anyways.
Dude, look at Soy Pill, who's all about edgy jokes. Listen to that white misogyny that just happened toward a woman, and he laughs and then tries to not laugh and then laughs again and then makes sure he has to wipe the laugh off of his face.
I don't want to hear.
My whole point
wanna listen.
is there are
So
other
anyway-
people
Oh,
like
no,
Ellie.
Erudite, still talking. White man, sit down. Listen, Jesus Christ. So, anyways,
At the end of the day, we're still men, fellas.
the whole fucking point of this is that you were like, oh, Democrats were so nice over the past fucking 10 years. Where the fuck was that? What the fuck are you talking about? The whole goddamn reaction of the right wing has been to snide, smug, far left dickbags running fucking media for a decade, running social media for a fucking decade. That's why Elon bought Twitter. Not just that, but in 2016, I wasn't going to vote for Trump, but I wasn't going to vote for Hillary Clinton either, because jihadist terrorist attacks were happening every other goddamn month, and the Democrats were talking about bringing in 250,000 new refugees. Not
Conor,
just
you're
that,
conflating
but
two
in
things
2020, no, I'm not done yet. Thank you. I listened to you for 5 minutes. You can listen to me for 3.5. So the other thing is, in 2020, we had the goddamn summer of love, where basically, like, not only did we have the COVID lockdown bullshit, but we also had BLM going on and people saying fiery but mostly peaceful protests. Do you know how oftentimes I see that bullshit where Democrats, regardless of all the fucked up of Trump, again, I can list all the up parts of Trump better than you can. Summer of Love, Chaz Chop, sweeping for jihadists, sweeping for BLM is still brought up, and that's not good behavior.
Yeah, none of that is anything we're talking about regarding mean comments. If you want to talk
Yes,
smug
it is.
girl
You
clutching,
said
that's
that you were best behavior for a decade and it didn't work. Don't gaslight me in real time, you
why is saying fiery but mostly
You were on your
peaceful
best
is
behavior
mean?
for 10 years and
Fiery-
everything I listed
wait,
was your best behavior?
Calm down.
No, I won't.
Okay.
Don't tell me that. You're
gonna-
lying to me. Don't lie to me.
Okay, fiery but mostly peaceful, that's Democrats being mean?
It's age regressing. It's reducing any nuanced, detailed, specific point down to mean. Yeah, but was it mean? That's what a woman says. A woman says you're being mean. That's mean. That's female behavior. I don't know how else to explain that. After Conor's impassioned speech, Soy Pill's just gonna be like, but was that mean? Whoa, okay. Like, you can imagine him having a knuckle in a woman, and she's like, ow, and he's like, oh, that hurts, huh? I slapped you last night in the bedroom and you liked it, but oh, but this knuckle hurts. Like, really? You think this behavior is just here and not in any of their interpersonal relationships? I find it very hard to believe. Especially when they think right-wingers have a different morality because they allow hypocrisy, and the left, according to their morality, does not allow hypocrisy.
On some level, I think the right wing just has a natural advantage when it comes to this sort of edgy speech, because loyalty allows them to ignore hypocrisy. And leftists don't do that. Like, liberals don't ignore hypocrisy, but right wingers do, because they have different moral values here.
Middle school boys misinforming each other about a woman's body at the lunch table. Have a good one.